Hello and welcome to Impact Africa, our online talk show where we get to have conversations with diverse people and organizations who are impacting lives positively. My name is Dr. Kemi Akiode Adebayo, also known as Dr. Mama K. And in today's program, to share a story is the compassionate, gentle, humble. I could go on about this lady. I met her not too long ago and I feel I've known her for a while. So she is Mrs. Portia Hermanus. She is the founder of an organization, a non-governmental organization called Glamour Girls with a Difference, which is based in Cape Town, South Africa. My dear sister friend Portia, how are you today?
I'm very well, very well. Thank
Good.
you. Being here, seeing you, I'm good.
Also, so tell us about Portia. Who is Portia? Where were you born? How was life growing up? And I know you're a pastor's kid, so that must have been fun. PK as you call it. Tell us about that.
Oh, so I'm Portia and I am someone that lived in a pastor's home all my life. So my dad is Peter, my mom is Jane, and coincidentally my mom actually also went to go and study to be a pastor. So she's a teacher by trade, lived her life as a teacher.
Okay.
And now today she's passed on.
Sorry to hear.
Yes, but my dad is still a pastor, and that is where I get my spiritual development through him and my mom, and I'm grateful to have been a PK kid.
So how many of you do you have siblings?
Yes, I'm the eldest.
Okay.
And,
eldest child.
And then I have a sister Claudia Joy and a brother Matthew.
Right.
Yeah. So being a preacher's daughter was very challenging sometimes at times, because you needed to be prim and proper, and I wasn't always prim and proper in the sense.
Really? I wouldn't believe that. Are you sure, Portia?
I didn't do such bad things that you would think. They said, my mom made a joke once. She said to my brother, Matthew, if you like the slang word in the colored community, if you huck it, then I'm gonna ball and chain you to the bed. So I didn't go there, but I loved the way my mom was a spiritual leader. She was a prayer warrior, and that is what I gained from her. And today I'm a prayer warrior, praying for my husband, my children, and the cares of the world.
Right. Yeah. So you're married, you've got children.
Yes.
So tell us about your own family now.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit.
Yeah. So I have a husband called Jonathan. He's an engineer. Then I have a son that you've met. His name is Enrique. He works for Mess Mold.
Awesome lad.
Mess Empower Serve, and there he actually runs a second phase house. That means he takes people from the street and then they come and live with him, but they need to have a job because they need to pay something towards living at his home. And then he's a pastor.
Wow, young and is a pastor. So it runs in the generation.
That's right.
And your siblings, any of them a pastor as well? No. Okay.
No. And then I have a baby son called Wade, and he's a graphic designer and a full-on tennis player.
A baby son. Would you like being called a baby son? How old is Wade?
Wade is 20.
Oh my word, no, baby son. Mom, come on. But no, you're always a baby to mothers. I agree. So let's go back now to being a South African. So obviously you were born in Cape Town, I assume?
Yes.
Where exactly in Cape Town?
In Kuils River. It's a suburb close to Bellville. Yes,
right. And I know you said your dad was involved with missionary work and used to go around, to some township at that young age. So obviously you come from a background that probably might be seen as privilege, but then you were serving and were following your dad, in some of this work. So for you, what makes you to be proudly South African?
So today I look back. So my dad, those years as growing up as a child, I was in a sort of a political dad, where he stood for righteousness, and what he stood for came across strongly, and how he raised us, because today I take no nonsense. I have to fight my own battles, and especially being a leader in an NGO, you always need to compare with those strong men out there, but today I'm not afraid, because that is what my dad taught me, not to be afraid. And for a South African woman, I'm very proud to call myself Portia, because I don't look at the color of your skin. I went to churches in Nyanga. I ate in Mpumalanga, the pap and boards. I went to beautiful weddings where they dance and sing. Yeah,
all the tradition
correct,
of, also tradition.
That's right. Okay. And I can speak a little bit of Xhosa.
Can you? Say something. Let me hear it.
If I would say, how are you? Kunjani. Mama Kay.
Okay.
And
what am I supposed to reply?
You're supposed to just say how you... I'm not sure what is the cause I work. They always just say, I can't remember.
I've been told many times. I've been told many times and I always forget. So maybe John will tell us during the break, and we share that afterwards. I always forget, because I know it's Molweni, then
Portia, and
and
Kunjani would be how are you?
How are you? Yes. Okay, and then do you speak Afrikaans fluently?
Yes, very well.
Okay.
I grew up in an English home, but my parents spoke Afrikaans, and my husband, he's full on Afrikaans.
All right. So now let's go on to your NGO now.
Okay.
Glamour Girls with a Difference.
Yes.
When was it started, and why did you start it?
Okay, I will have to give a little bit of history. So my parents, I grew up in a home where my dad and my mom always looked after the poor and the vulnerable. So we used to go out on farms and squatter camps when I was a child, and I always saw my mom with all these big pots of food and going out to the community and feeding them. But my dad came along, and because he's a pastor, he fed them with the word. So he used to preach and give out tracts. Those years it was a little piece of paper with God's word on there, and that is what he used to preach, and then leave something behind. And that is how I was reared. So and then we in the church, what we used to do, my dad used to make lots of parcels, soup and little peanut butter, jam, rice and flour, and that he used to make up and give it out to the less privileged in the community. And at times I used to see him blessing the elderly, going to homes. We used to go and brush the hair of the elderly, and my mom used to do that monthly. So I always saw my parents working with the poor and the vulnerable, and today it's my nature, and it's part of my character to give back. And then seeing all of that as I grew up, and looking after the poor and looking after those that could never repay my dad, but yet he gave. He taught me one thing. He said he used to bless pastors, meaning he used to go to Markham's. I think Markham's is still a shop here that you do get. And he used to take the pastor and his wife and tell them, come with me to the shop and choose any suit that you would like. And he used to do the same to the pastor's wife. So I experienced this lifestyle in giving, and they say you count your blessings, right? And today it's part of my nature. And then when I became a bit older, I realized that, oh my goodness, there are companies that can actually bless you, because the charity that I have at this moment, I don't have a salary, but it gives me so much joy. Not that I'm bragging and to say that, but it has sustained me when my husband is working. So it gives me so much joy to get up in the morning and put a smile on my face to say that I'm going to bless that person, and not just feeding them. So Glamour Girl started when I was homeschooling my son, Wade. and he wanted to be homeschooled, and then that happened in 2016.
Right.
Yeah, and then I decided, well, I'm bored. Oh yes, I studied to become a teacher. I stepped into my mother's footsteps. Yes,
you followed your mother's
yes. And I love teaching.
Right.
And then when Wade said to me, Mommy, he wants to be homeschooled, I then decided, okay, I'll be a stay-at-home mom. But still loving children, I went to a school, a farm school. And there, the principal was a born-again lady. And she said to me, Portia, come along and preach to the children. And then I also used to help them when there were teachers absent. I went to invigilate, and that kept me going.
Okay.
That living my purpose, still living my purpose, and still serving my family. And then I decided to work in a place called Morning Star. That's a colored area in Durbanville. That there's people living there that went to the school that I was at. Okay. And then there was this little girl that was very naughty, and she was put out of the class. I won't mention her name, but she was so naughty. And then one day there came a few kids were taken to another school to be rehabilitated, in the sense there were social workers and I think psychologists that used to speak to these children. And then this girl was at the school, and a friend of mine came to this beautiful farm with children that had beautiful lilies. And I came to the school, and my son was in matric, the oldest one. And my friend said to me, let's go to the school, I'll introduce you to the school. And I went there, and then this little girl was there. And my friend says, why are you standing outside? And she said, well, don't ask me why I'm standing outside, it's none of your business. And then she threw my car with a stone. Oh my goodness. I just said, I breathed.
How old was she?
13. Okay. And I said to her, I know there's a lot of stuff going on, but you know what? Do you want me actually to call the police and let them lock you up? And you know what? She had no fear. She didn't mind if I called the police. And that is what drew me to her. And she made me start Glamour Girls, because I said to myself, God, there must be something that they would want to do. They don't want to be rude and cheeky and swear at teachers. And that has made me think that, won't it be beautiful if they can have some glamour to them, and be a lady and have some chic to themselves. And but I'm a counselor as well. I studied at UNISA to be a counselor. Yes, and that is what I did. I had compassion for their circumstances. And I loved that, because they would open up to me. They would share their deeper secrets.
Yeah, things they can share with their family.
And I went to a home and I met her family. And then I met her friends, which was all broken. And some of them had a father that was in jail most of their lives. And that broke me. And I said, God, how can I make a difference in this girl's lives? And then I started with one, and today they are over 40 that I have. Thank you, that I have, but it's only God's grace.
I can imagine.
So in the morning, I get up with that passion that drives me. How can I change a girl's life? Or how can I change the mom's life? You know, because sometimes their moms are on drugs. And they are actually ashamed to have a mom. And that is when I come in with unconditional love. Just to give them a hug and to say, you know, I get that. And I'm here for you, as you say, but I'll walk the journey with you. And it takes a lot of grace, and it takes a lot of prayer to do what I do. But you know, through the storm, I'm still Portia.
So what obviously has been maybe a big challenge, you know, your biggest challenge so far? And what activities do you do with them?
Okay, so my biggest challenge is actually to work with drug girls that are on drugs.
Right.
But I have someone. I have my husband's uncle that works at the Ark, and he's a pastor there. So
Right.
all those girls I refer to the Ark,
Right.
because I'm not specialized in working with drugs, ladies and women, but they come across my path and I
Yes.
can only do what I can do. So the biggest challenge is to work with girls that are on drugs, because I referred some of these ladies that were on drugs, and they were rehabilitated for 9 months at the Ark. And when they come back, the biggest challenge is that they don't have a work.
Okay.
And so for me to journey with these girls, I still see them.
Yes.
They are women. They are 34 and over. But for them, some of them fell back because there isn't somebody that can walk.
Continue that journey once
With
they've been
them.
rehabilitated. So how do we walk with them further?
And some of them, they get thrown back, and then they see that they're back in their circumstances.
Yes,
So they still see doom and gloom.
Yes,
And they don't have
so
somebody.
it's a circle. So they're back into what it was, and they probably lose hope as well, because they probably thought, let me do something, but then nobody, like you said, to
Yes.
take them, further. Before we go on the break, which we have to very shortly now, what are the specific needs for glamour girls? I know with a difference. I know, you said earlier, that you don't get paid and you're doing it from your heart, out of compassion. But are there any specific needs?
Yes.
Not necessarily money as well, because a lot of people feel sometimes it's just only about money. Is
Yes.
it maybe somebody to walk the journey, like
Yeah.
you said, with these girls after they've been, through drugs rehabilitation,
Yes.
who supports them? What's the next step,
Yeah.
for them? Well, what are your specific needs?
Okay, so my specific needs is that I would love more volunteers.
Okay.
I would love more volunteers to come and join me and to say, I'm there for a girl or a woman that needs love. All you need is to talk into their lives. All you need is just to give them that smile and to say, I'm here for you. And lots of times I do one-on-one. So I
Right.
need women to say, come alongside me and just walk the path with them. And all they need is love. And what I still need is I would like a center where I can develop these girls in teaching them some skills.
Right.
So if you have skills in computer courses, in skills in how to develop them, and to nurture them as a young teenager, if you have empowering skills, if you run a business that motivates women on a daily basis, which I know they are, and yes, and especially skills with beading or skills, just so that I can keep them busy. I try and keep them busy with outdoor activities, yes, but I do not have that specific skills that can empower a woman, or etiquette, that they can walk into having some course behind their name with educate or...
Yeah, I'm just thinking as you're thinking that there are few NGOs, non-governmental organizations that we work with in Delft,
Yes.
Already providing some specific skills, in terms of computer training, like
Yes.
Kathalelana. Sorry, Marlene, I'm dropping you in now. So they could maybe, help you, because they've done that in Delft. So
Yes.
maybe it's a case of maybe you could find a few of the older young girls to come there, learn,
Yes.
train, and then go back. Because I don't know, transportation might be an issue, and
Yeah.
always an issue
Yes.
for most, people who come from disadvantaged background.
Yes.
So maybe, we can make those connections. But
Definitely.
let's talk more about that, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Wow, so Portia, a preacher's kid, born in Curse River, eldest of three, mother was a teacher, you became a teacher, studied counseling at UNISA, and from a very young age, you've been involved in putting back in the community based on what you saw from your parents. And you've started, you know, Glamour Girls with a Difference from that one experience of that young, you know, girl. And I commend you, and I really appreciate you. So what I want to ask you though is, for you, and I think I can guess, what are the three things, you know, for you that are most valuable, you know, for you, and what motivates you?
So what motivates me is the girls in the community, because they come from traumatic life experiences, and what makes me smile is when I can put a smile on a traumatic girl's face. So most of the girls are teenagers, so they're from the age of 12 and up to 18. And when I go there, just to give that girl a hug, because I know what's going on. I know.
And sometimes it's all that some of them need. Not all, but it makes such a big difference.
That's right, yeah. So I go out there with unconditional love, not judging anyone, not judging where you live and not what you did and what you told me, because you are already getting so much bad vibes at home.
Yes.
So here I have to take all those bad vibes, bottle it together and say, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to listen. So I go out with no judgment. I just love them for where they at in their lives. And another thing that drives me is when I can encourage the parents even, you know, because the girls are the product of the mom. So where I can empower women and also to tell them, you know what, no matter your circumstances today, love your daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and present there's a little girl that I'm dealing with that wanted to commit suicide. That breaks my heart so much, and all I needed to do was tell that mom, love her.
Yeah.
She wants to put the child in a home to send her away. And you know what? I'm not there for that. So they think I'm the social worker in the community, but I'm there for love. And another thing that drives me, that puts a smile on my face, so there's even boys that comes to me and say, Tannie, ek is lief vir Tannie, maar Tannie, gee vir my geld. But then I would say, no, what is the need? You know, what do you need? Do you need bread? Then I'll buy you bread. And I want to thank Blue Ribbon. They are my only sponsors at the stage.
Kudos to Blue Ribbon and the team. Alistair, we see you.
Yes. Thank you so much for what you do. And I know I'm still going to be walking this journey with you for the next, as God gives me the grace. And Blue Ribbon's forever asking me, what can they do for me? Like the other day, this guy said, do you want me to paint the creche? You know, and I'm so grateful to Blue Ribbon, and thank you to Willem, which is the general manager in Woodstock, and Soraya that also gave me some donations up till this. And yeah, that is what drives me, that I can just put a smile on that the person's face that's so down.
Right. So what would you say then for you is the definition of success? And who is a leader?
Okay, so the definition of success is if you as a leader can communicate to the rest of your team and say that it's not about me, this is about us. So it's about teamwork. That is what I believe in. And a good leader delegates. And also a good leader, she honors where her team is at. So for example, if they have good strength in a certain area, let them live out their dream with you to make a success of our NGO, because it's not about me, it's about the children that we. So a good leader delegates, a good leader communicates well, and also honor her team, her volunteers, because without those volunteers, I'm nothing. I can't do without any volunteers, people buttering bread, cooking those big pots of biryani, and I can't do anything. So a good leader delegates and honors her team that she works with. And you asked me something else?
I think definition of success, but I will let you say that, then we'll go on a quick break. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
No, how would you define success?
Success is if I, as a leader, bring my team together, and we together build the community with their needs. So I will have to also empower them and telling them, empowering them by giving them skills. So my success will bloom if they are empowered. So if I can have volunteers that come on board and say to me, I have a passion for what you do, but help me get there where you're at. So that is what success is all about. We working together and me empowering the team to become successful and empower the NGO for where they need to move to our end goal.
Thank you. Well, we'll be right back for the last segment.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you for, those definitions of, what we should expect from a leader, and as well what success, for you means, and at the same time, what motivates you. I just liked all what you said there, just waking up the girls, those, just giving them a hug, showing them unconditional, love. So my next question is, what life lessons? I know there's been a lot, and don't be deceived. She looks very young. She's past 50. We're on the 5th floor together, and she looks so young. So I know you've had a lot of life experience over the years. So what life experience do you want to share with any of your young girls, or that you've even been sharing with them to say, you need to do this. This is what I learned. Just share some with us.
Okay, you mean what I've been through and to encourage them?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what I've been through, I've learned that encouraging them emotionally, it's very, very important. For the reason being, I've also been through a little bit of emotional distress growing up as a child, and I know that my parents being there for me, especially during the boycott times when that was a bit much. And although their stress is different, mine was different. Mine was dealing with political issues and all of that, and getting
at a young age.
Sure, at such a young age. And that was in my teenage years. And teenagers are vulnerable.
Yes.
So, so I would love to encourage them by saying, share what's going on in your heart. And if you share, then I can help you. But if you hide it, you will maybe hang yourself, So I'm glad that if you can share and tell us what's bugging you. I know it's difficult, but we never judge. And you know me, I never judge. So that is a life experience that I can say to them, that share what's bugging and share what hurts. Yeah, especially those that some of the girls or the boys belong to gangs, and that's heartbreaking, but I know why, because they had no father figure. And that.
So my final question, thank you for that insight, there, which is useful, very short, but very useful. So in terms of social issues, you already work in that area, you're already doing so much, you've been part of that as a preacher's kid, helping in terms of addressing poverty, unemployment, some of what you've said. For you, what is a social issue that you are still passionate about, or would you would like to see something being done, about it, and what will be the solution?
Okay, so if I know I hammer on the emotional abuse, but it's real. It's so real, and lots of people, society think degrades people that go through mental issues. But you know what? Because I've been there, done that, I went through some mental issues when I had that depression that I had. So for me, I would love to change the way people think, the way, if they come on board, the way they love people. Because if you can just say that I hear you, that's already a load less from that. So I would love to work on mental issues and dealing with the physical abuse and the emotional abuse, where, you know, people go into a cocoon and they never speak, and that goes into their adulthood and they become women that never speak up, and that is why they get physically abused. And sometimes they live with a husband that's a gangster, and not knowing how to run away because nobody has taught them. So that is why I would love to work and have people, psychologists, psychiatrists come on board, or social workers come on board and help me to help these girls and women that has these broken spirits, where people abuse them and sexually are abused, but they have no way out, so that they don't have a voice. And that is what I want to bring to the table. And I would love to partner with the government to tell them, help me give those girls or women a voice at school, so that I can partner with them to give them a voice, to give them the tools, the proper tools of how to speak up, not doing it in a bad way, but doing it in a correct way, where we can empower these girls and give them the proper tools. And especially those boys out there that think they have, they look up to the gangster to think that he's going to give them some money, and all they need is love and security. They just need affirmation to say that I'm here for you. And that is why he becomes the gangster, because that man in the community gives him love, gives him a gun, and say to him, you a macho guy. But being a macho guy is none of that above that I just mentioned. Being a macho guy can just be saying, I am bold and I am very happy in the skin that I'm living in. So that is what I would like to change. The gangsterism, and to give those boys a voice to say that, no, I will not belong to this gang because I'm better than this. And if they empowered and have tools to say no, and how to say no to those men that is bombarding them and saying, here's a pair of tackies just to keep your mouth, but to do the dirty work, sell the drugs, and have the guns and hijack cars for them. So that is what I
was still listening to you, because I can see the passion, the energy I've seen as well, you know, while meeting you, and some of the work you've done, and I can't wait to follow on you know, where you go with Glamour Girls with a Difference. And I'm hoping and praying that people will seek you out to collaborate with you, to support you in whatever means, so that jointly a difference can be made. Because yes, you cannot do this alone. So at the end of the day, we need somebody with the energy, with the drive, you know, who others can key into. So I salute you, Portia.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for all you're doing. And I wish you and Glamour Girls with a Difference all the very best for the future. We celebrate you, we honor you, we see you as well. So because I know sometimes it can be lonely, you know, behind the scenes. So I know, I've been there, done that. Because you're like, oh, okay, yes, I don't get paid for this. Why am I doing this? And there's so much, you know, you put your time, your resources, your energy, and everything of you, and even through faith, you know, you pray, you know, obviously, you know, for those girls as well. So spiritually, physically, mentally, socially, emotionally, you're doing all that work. We celebrate you, we honor you, and we wish you all the very, very best. So what I want to say and ask you now is in closing.
Yes.
I know you've already given a lot, in
Okay.
there, but I want you now to just think of a group you want to speak directly to. So in your own words, just to give them words of encouragement, anybody you want to speak to, but I need you to now look at them and speak directly to them.
Oh, okay. So what I would like to say to the young people out there, I would like to say, you're unique. And be yourself, and let no one take that away from you. So what you have is a piece of gold. Your character, that is what makes you you. So I'd like to encourage these girls that no matter what you do, try and do something good for somebody else. It can maybe just be a smile. You don't need to have money to make somebody else feel good. So I would love to encourage women and people out there, just give someone a smile. Encourage someone to say, oh, I know you're not okay today. Can you tell me your story? And the children at school, I would love to encourage you, share your bread, share your love. You know what the children are going through, because you go through the same things, but just a hug, just a smile. And that is what makes the world go round. So making the change in your own community. Don't wait till I come along, but you can make the change yourself. Be yourself and make the difference where you are. And if you have money, then what you could do, you can invest with other NGOs like myself that are doing the groundwork and ask us how can we partner. So I would like to say, if you have a business that you can invest in, our NGOs or my friends' NGOs, then come alongside and give of that. We will make work with our hands and feet that God has given us, but make the difference where you are, be the change where you are in your society. Give that someone just a smile.
I'm writing. I'm like, yeah, no, that's good. No, that's good. Wow, there's so many nuggets in there. Be the change, be yourself, share your love. You are unique. Oh, I just love all those things. Share your bread, and
Yes.
and you're appealing to, those who have to invest in NGOs like yourself,
Yes.
who will do the work. And I just love that bit about the smile. And I think a lot of people forget that, that a smile does not cost anything. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
And
time.
thank you to you. I appreciate you. And when I met you, you're this dazzling woman with so much energy. I was drawn to you.
Okay, cut. This is not about me. Cut.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
That needs to get out.
All right. Well, that's all we've got time for. I really appreciate you. And
Thank
thanks for the
you.
kind words as well.
Thank you.
And we salute you. We continue to celebrate you. We continue to, look into people like you who are impacting lives positively and communities without, asking for anything. Thank you. And thank you to all those that God has surrounded you with, your support network, your husband, your children, your father, and other people, as well that work with you, with Glamour Girls with a Difference. So, guys, check out Glamour Girls with a Difference. We're going to be sharing their contact details at the end. If you want to support in any way, please do reach out. If you can't, if you know somebody else that can, do reach out to them directly, and the details will be at the end of the program. And yes, that's all we've got time for today, till the next Impact Africa, where we continue to hear stories from people like Portia, who are doing so much, impacting lives positively. And we hope your life has been impacted positively, even if it's one thing, from today. So till next time, stay safe, stay blessed. Know I love you. Remember, God is love. you.